Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. In today's video, we are doing a quick little reading and check-in. So you guys know that I have really been challenging myself to do videos here on YouTube every single day. And I've been keeping up with it since mid-July at this point. So we're coming up on almost 2 months of these daily videos, and I've really been enjoying being able to connect this way with all of you every single day here on YouTube. I also want to share with you that I've really been giving some thought to how we can, as a channel, celebrate reaching 300,000 subscribers and some kind of way that I can give back to all of you who have been part of this channel from the beginning, here supporting me and supporting even more so this work, which I always consider to be a co-creative process between myself and all of you who are here listening. So I had the idea to actually do a live streamed reading. So a reading that is done in real time. And I feel like this could be a really fun way to tap into the energy more strongly and in kind of a real-time sort of fashion. So let me know if that's something you would be interested in. That's really something I am heavily looking into and considering doing over the course of maybe the next few weeks to the next month. So do stay tuned for that. And if that does interest you and you're not yet subscribed, I do recommend subscribing and turning on notifications so that you get notified when I do go live for that reading, when I do the live stream, because this will actually allow you to get on and interact in real time when that happens. So I'm going to go ahead and start shuffling the cards here just to see what wants to come through. So what can I channel? Okay, so there's a message that my guides want me to speak on that I actually channeled into a little bit earlier today. And I'm speaking to a group that is dealing with a very, very intense soul connection of some kind, either a high-level soulmate or a twin flame. This is going to be a very rare message for this specific group, so don't force it if it doesn't feel aligned for you. Of course, I always say to use your intuition and only take the messages that resonate for you personally. But what I'm picking up for this rare group of souls is that you are dealing with a person, well, I should say with this other soul, this other energy, physically incarnated, that carries such a profound bond with you, a very intense, high-level bond. My guides are saying that the energy is actually very pure between the two of you, and pure frequency energy vibrates at a very high level. I'm also hearing that the energy between you is so pure that it causes rapid energetic purification in each of you energetically, especially in times when you are more closely connected, which of course sounds like a beautiful thing, and it is. But the message here is that because that energy is so pure and because it leads to this actual, my guides are almost saying it can cause a sort of like energy purging for you, where when you're around each other, the energy is so pure and so cleansing on such a deep level that it actually brings to the surface any negative patterns or belief systems or fears or anxieties or shadow aspects that either of you have been holding on to in any kind of way. And it happens at such a fast rate that it can take your system some time to metabolize what's coming up for you. And because of this, I'm speaking to a group that has had this sort of pattern within this connection of coming together with this person, and I'm hearing moments of inspiration. So most likely when you're in this person's presence, you are deeply inspired at times, this is where you get these sudden breakthroughs or inspired ideas, or where you have epiphanies about yourself and your life. This may happen very often just when you are conversing with this person or when you're in the vicinity of them physically. I keep getting in the energy that the experience of this connection is especially intense when you are around this person physically, that like when you're together or in the same room, everything is drastically amplified to an even greater degree. And so I'm getting the word unconventional. I feel that because of the intensity of this bond and the way it causes this literal purging effect within you, this purification within you, that yes, brings through these breakthroughs and these inspired ideas and almost like helps you energetically quantum leap to the next level when you're around each other. It feels like the energy needs time to metabolize and to kind of integrate itself into your light body, into your energy body. And that integration process for the two of you often seems to happen when you are actually apart, especially physically, like when there's some kind of distance or space created between you. The complication here is we aren't talking in this instance about that traditional running and chasing dynamic. And I feel that for the person I'm channeling into here, this has been complicating because you may have been like hearing teachings or ideas about being like a runner or a chaser. And yes, that is a real dynamic that occurs, especially in high level soul connections or with twin flames. That does occur, but you've noticed that recently that rhetoric and that teaching, it feels like there's almost like a level of condescension in it for you when people tell you, oh, you're just afraid of love, or you're afraid of connection, or this other person is afraid, because you know in this instance that that isn't what's really going on. You know that this isn't running and chasing, this is quantum leaping and then integrating. It's like quantum leaping together in those moments where you're in physical proximity and then separating for periods of time to allow that energy to settle without being constantly in that intense kind of state with each other. But the thing about it is, I feel that for the group I'm speaking to, there's really no tension in this unless the mind gets involved. And what I mean by that is, by the way, if you hear me taking sips in the background, I do have coffee today, but I am currently just having a typical Americano. So espresso and water, nothing super fancy, but I would love to know what you're eating or drinking during this reading, if there's anything you'd like to share in the comments. So yeah, what I'm getting about this is, again, this is a very specific message for a small group here, but it's complicating because there are periods of time where you're together with this person more, and then times where you are more separate or there is more distance. But this is not coming from a place of fear. It's not happening because of hurt or because of wounding. It's happening because of intensity and the need to settle, the need to integrate. And what I'm picking up for this specific group is the kind of soul connection that you are experiencing. I'm seeing people writing letters. Maybe that's significant for someone. But the kind of connection you are experiencing is actually so energetically intense because of, again, this purity, this high frequency energy. Also, the ancientness of your bond with this person that can be very overwhelming to the soul, because it's almost like your soul is being bombarded with all of this unconscious history that the two of you share that is coming up. But anyway, what I'm getting is that you are pulling away from each other, but in a way that is conscious and not toxic. And there's something about it that actually feels peaceful. My guides are comparing it to the waves kind of ebbing and flowing, moving in and out. And that really seems to be how this connection is operating. It's ebbing and flowing. And just like when the ocean ebbs and flows, it's still the ocean. It doesn't change shape or form. It's still what it is. It's still this powerful force of nature. It's still as beautiful and magnificent and vast And that is like your connection. Your connection, just like the ocean, is always vast and beautiful and expansive and inspiring, and it is what it is, no matter how much it ebbs and flows. You may have moments of high tide, so to speak, metaphorically, and moments of low tide, times where you're very connected and times where you feel more disconnected. And yet, really, that's not even the correct way of saying it, because you can look disconnected in the physical, but you always feel connected to this person. Yeah, that's the message my guides are trying to get through. And for whatever reason, in this instance, they're telling me to, it's like when I say something that doesn't quite feel energetically accurate, like perfectly, they want me to reword it here, because there's something about being precise, being important in this instance. Like, this is a very important, intense connection. And there's something about the language that I'm using to describe it, helping someone to possibly unlock a more conscious understanding about the kind of connection that they've been experiencing. I'm also hearing that for some who will find this video, this will feel as though it's answering questions for you that you've actually had for a really long time, because most likely you are someone who's been trying to fit your connection into some kind of like box or label or understand it naturally. Of course, you've been trying to understand it because it's so intense and so all-encompassing. But what I'm getting is, as you've researched it, you come across materials that talk about, again, real experiences, but not the one you're experiencing. Things like running, chasing, people who are just being avoidant or distant because they're scared, but you know that that isn't really what's happening in this connection. I also feel that at times you may have felt guilty because of that kind of rigid ideology that your connection didn't really fit into. You may have felt guilty as though, like, should I be connecting more with this person physically? Should I make this connection into something that I really feel it isn't ready for, at least not right now? That seems to be another key here, that timing is a factor, where it's not that you're saying this is never going to be a more closely, consistently connected sort of situation. But for now, there's this realization that I'm hearing you're in the sweet spot. So what my guides are trying to explain is, you feel at times guilty because you feel like you're falling short of some kind of arbitrary standard for how a soul connection is supposed to look in the physical. And you may feel like, well, this is my deepest, most ancient, most beautiful, most intense and valuable connection. Like, I feel that you really value this connection, and so does the other person involved. And there's a mutual knowing that you do value each other, maybe more than any other connection on the planet for either of you. And yet there is this feeling, like this intuitive sense, that when you are together for extended periods of time physically, at least right now, it gets so intense that it seems to actually delay your growth and delay your healing, because the intensity can get overwhelming to both of your systems. So I feel that you've come into this kind of rhythm, this ebb and flow that seems to work for you. And again, there's this consciousness in that. I don't feel that this rhythm of being closer and then being further, allowing things to settle and integrate, and then coming back together in a stronger way to activate each other. I feel like you've kind of fallen into this rhythm naturally, but intuitively, maybe unconsciously, maybe you don't even fully realize that you've intuitively and naturally guided yourself on a soul level into this rhythm that works for the two of you. But again, my guides, they're saying, this isn't you falling short. This is you walking a very fine line so beautifully. Because essentially what you're doing is you are keeping yourself intuitively in this sweet spot where you are able to maintain some level of physical communication or interaction, even if it's sporadic, even if it's not all the time, with this other physical person who's actually the embodiment of a very powerful soul connection for you. And you're able to maintain that while at the same time having those periods of distance physically, whether it's just going to different rooms, maybe you even live with this person, or maybe you live on other sides of the world. And so it's living far apart, but then coming together for visits or anything in between. This really isn't about the physical distance. It's about finding some kind of way to create space to allow you both to process the intensity between the two of you and to integrate the activations that are created when you come together without overwhelming your human physical systems and burning yourselves out, and not feeling guilty when this soul connection doesn't look in the physical like you've been told it's supposed to look. Because here's the thing, for the group I'm speaking to here, you may feel as though you've been misunderstood or even condescended to, maybe by people in your life or by society, or by even maybe there are spiritual teachers who are telling you like this connection has to look like this because this is what it is. But you know in your heart, like, wait a second, my connection doesn't look like that in the physical, but it feels so intense and so valuable and powerful. And I feel like I'm doing some very important work here. And that is exactly the case. And what I'm coming to here is, in actuality, you are dealing with an extremely, extremely intense soul bond that is so expansive and so beautiful. And it's mutually benefiting both of you in your own journeys of expansion in so many ways. But what you're doing here isn't you acting from fear, you creating space for yourself when you intuitively feel that space is needed, is actually you protecting yourself and protecting the connection from burning out too quickly. You're actually preserving it to be able to sustain itself without burnout. And this is actually very artful, is what my guides are saying. Like, this takes a level of true mastery to be able to walk the line that you're walking here, to stay in that sweet spot. And my guides are emphasizing that it's your intuition that keeps you in the sweet spot here of connection, so to speak. So it's very, very important that you listen to your signals instead of gaslighting yourself because you think this connection needs to look different. So if your body, your soul, your heart, your mind is telling you, we need to slow down, we're tired, we're burnt out, or we're feeling some things coming up, instead of shaming yourself for that, give yourself grace. Understand that you are dealing with a kind of connection so intense that most people would never be able to handle even a smallest encounter with this kind of soul connection physically, because it would be too overwhelming. So the fact that you are sustaining any level of connectedness without burnout here actually is truly impressive and admirable. But also what I'm picking up on is, in past phases of humanity, even I would say, like, not even so long ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, even not so long ago, people never would have encountered another bond, like a bond like this, a soul connection like this, because it would have been too intense. And I'm also hearing that for many of you listening, technology is playing a role in this as well. And I've actually been speaking on this in recent readings because this is something that's been coming through that's relatively new information for the channel. We've been channeling a lot about how technology is actually, in some ways, allowing us to meet and to bridge distances with other souls and to connect with some very beautiful soul connections that we otherwise never would have encountered, or only would have encountered unconsciously prior to technological advancements in even just the last 20 years. Even this channel itself, as someone pointed out in the comments, which thank you for this comment because it was a beautiful perspective, but someone commented on a recent video that even this channel is an example of how technology connects us in ways that wouldn't have been possible in the past. And I personally am so grateful that I've been able to connect with all of you, because I know that we come from many different parts of the world. And most likely, decades or hundreds of years ago, we wouldn't have all been able to connect in this way. But we're able to connect more quickly because of technological advancements. And it's the same way in many of our individual soul connections, where we are actually able to meet and connect with other souls that we share a really deep soul bond with, maybe even a very, very intense soul bond with, that we never would have encountered prior to technological advancements in just, again, like the last 10 or 20 years. And I feel for many of you, the reason this is coming up in this reading is because this particular soul may be someone that you have such an intense connection with that technology allows you to still stay connected, especially if you're at a physical distance, while having somewhat of a buffer, but still a strong degree of conscious connectedness, whether it's through social media, through messaging platforms, through emailing each other, whatever this is for you. So maybe technology plays some kind of role, or maybe you met online or something like that. That just seems to be coming up somehow with this person. So I am going to be pulling a few cards to close this reading, which is a bit funny because I guess we didn't end up pulling any cards during the reading, but this message just wanted to come out so strongly. So I feel like I want to leave this at kind of a complete thought here. So I'm going to be doing that so that those of you who are looking for this message can easily find it via the thumbnail and title. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pull a few final messages, a few final thoughts for you from the cards, but I also want to share with you that I have created a subliminal that you can use to manifest contact from anyone in your life that you've been desiring to hear from, whether it's someone from your past or even someone that you may have been very disconnected from physically for a period of time. This can be used romantically, platonically, just in general to attract in desired contact in any form, or you can use it to manifest contact from a specific person. But I have seen the most powerful testimonials and results from so many of you using this subliminal to manifest contact from someone. I've heard several testimonials in the comments from some of you even saying that you listened to this over the course of a day or a few days or a week, and then you were contacted by someone who actually had you blocked for even, I saw one comment saying someone had you blocked 2 years, and using this subliminal helped you to manifest contact from that person. So I've heard some amazing stories from people using this, and I would love for you to try it free for yourself. You can sign up in the app and start with a free trial account just to try it out for 7 days, see how it works for you, see if you're able to manifest any kind of contact that you've been desiring. I do have so many different subliminals in the app for all areas of life, for appearance, money, business, love, relationships, for manifesting specific things, for energy clearing, and so many other things as well. So yeah, I would love for you to start using this tool to manifest success, happiness, confidence, love, whatever else it is that you desire and deserve into your life. And when you sign up for a free account in the app, you can create your own custom private playlists, and you can also listen to any subliminal I've created in 10 different background sound options, just depending on your personal preference. So I will be leaving a link to currently, I would consider it to be my most powerful subliminal, although I have many in the works that I'm very excited about. But it's called Break No Contact, to manifest contact from a specific person. And I will leave a link that you can click to get this subliminal in the pinned comment and description box underneath this video. Okay, so let's see what wants to come through as a final message from the cards here. So what is one final message? Okay, so we have the World in the reverse position, walking away, rest and rejuvenation reversed, hostilities, I heard be free and trust that this person is going to be able to come with you. They're going to come with you. What I'm getting here is the energy of someone who at times, because of this soul bond that they feel on such a deep level, I feel that at times there's been a part of you fighting the space that is necessary at certain moments in this connection. Almost like you'll intuitively feel like, I need to take some kind of physical space here to allow room for my own maximum expansion. But then a part of you may actually fight that internally or feel guilty about that. And what I'm getting here is to allow your maximum expansion and to trust that because this bond runs so deep and because it's happening at such a soul level, that when you allow space for your own expansion, this person will rise to meet you there. You may even want to affirm in the comments, they will rise to meet me here, because I feel like that could be a really powerful affirmation for you. So I'm going to go ahead and close the reading there. I really hope that this was helpful for you. If so, I would love for you to subscribe, join our beautiful community here on YouTube. You can also follow me on Instagram at Magnetize Yourself, where I post daily inspiration and text posts that are meant to uplift your energy throughout the day. And you can now listen to my channeled music on Spotify. I am a singer-songwriter, and I just released my 3rd channeled song called Hard to Reach Places. And the link to my Spotify is in the description box underneath this video. If you do want to use the Break No Contact Subliminal or any other subliminal from my app to manifest your desires using your own subconscious mind, the link to get my app and try it free is in the pinned comment and description box as well. And otherwise, I am wishing you a beautiful remainder of your day, and I will connect with you here again in the next video.